Hey, welcome into another KATcast. Kevin Haley along with Aaron Hart and Jordan J. And today, we're talking hobbies.
That's right, hobbies.
What are hobbies?
What do you do for fun?
Exactly.
Hobbies. Well,
fun?
There's a lot of things I'd like to do for fun, but I'm a family man with 3 kids. You know what I get to do? I get to work a full-time job. I get to go home and work again and then sit on the couch at 10 p.m.
You are joking, kind of, but it's actually what Jordan says is true. If you have a hobby, obviously you love it. You love doing it, but you feel like, I never have any time to do this.
But hang on, I do know for a fact that after those kids fall asleep, you game.
I do. So that's my one. That's the hobby that I have been attracted to. It's something I've always done growing up, playing with my buddies.
Right.
We a lot of times we're outside. I mean, heck, we lived outside, but when we couldn't go outside, we'd game. Yeah. And so that's just what we liked to do, and that's what I do still today. Heck, that's how I hang out with some of my friends that are wherever in the world they are. I'll be like, text them, want to play some games? And they're like, yeah. That's how we keep in touch. So it's something I've always kind of kept in my life. It's something that at the end of the night I can kind of relax. It's very easy going.
Oh,
a lot of the times it's me falling asleep before getting to that. But
right.
I have to include, I guess, gaming with me too. Yeah. I mean, a couple of years ago, my son gave me a PS4. I love it. And then earlier in 2024, he gave me a PS5. And that opened up a whole new world to me now.
That counts as, I would say you're a gamer now, Kevin.
Yeah, but I'm not. But let me put it. I'm not a good gamer. I'm not. I just enjoy it.
I was going to say, see, when it comes to hobbies, I don't think it's anything you have to be good at. As long as you enjoy, that's how you want to spend your time.
And I play the same 3 or 4 games: Call of Duty, Madden. Yeah. I've just got started on PGA Golf Tour, which I love. I'm hooked on that thing, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
I would have never pictured you as somebody who would enjoy golf.
I've tried golf. Look, I can golf. It's just like I'm not good at it. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not great. I can hit the ball sometimes.
I also have the Meta Oculus, the VR headset, which my grandson actually co-opted that from me. So he's played it now more than I have, okay? Like every time he comes downstairs and goes, can I play Oculus? He still calls it Oculus. Can I play Oculus? I go, sure. And so then I have to set up the perimeter for him where he can walk. And I'm like, hey, back up. You're about to hit me, because he can't see where he's going.
Well, no.
So I try to set up a safe perimeter for him. But anyway, I love that too, the Oculus.
The amount of games, too, you can play. There's so many. You can either play multiplayer games online with people.
It's the next generation of Wii is what it is.
Yeah.
It really is because, all the motion and everything. Remember Wii?
Oh, yeah.
How big a deal that was?
Yeah.
Well, this now you're just transported into that environment. That's the difference.
You are the controller. That's so cool.
Right.
Okay, so not to brag, but I got a PlayStation 2. And
That's one of the best PlayStations.
I've got Tomb Raider, and I couldn't even get out of training mode, so I got that going for me.
My kids had a PS2.
Yeah. No, hands down, my favorite thing on there is I found an old disc of all 80s games. It's like Pole Position, Frogger, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, all the fun stuff that I grew up in a time where there were arcades, kids, where you could go to this big giant room at your local mall, and with quarters you could play all kinds of these different games. And of course, you wanted to be really good at those games because your quarter lasted longer.
Yeah.
A bit of an aside: we had a birthday party for my grandson yesterday at this trampoline place near us. And they also have 3 or 4 they have bunches of video games as well. And it's funny because the kids go in there and go, I want to play the video games. Like, hey, I just paid for an hour for you jumping. So you're going to jump till your brains come out, and then you can play video games. So, but they have all these video games, and guess what else they had, you guys? 3 or 4 of those quarter machines.
Oh,
you put the quarter in and try to move it and slide.
That is Kevin's jam.
It stole $6 of my money, man. And then you keep thinking, okay, this is going to be the one. Because look, they're just hanging over so precipitously.
Sometimes you'll find these at restaurants, too. That's where we usually come across
the Mexican
them with
restaurants
Kevin.
And all, yeah.
And as we're walking out, you can almost hear the siren song calling to Kevin.
It is. It's
and next thing you know, he's patting himself down. Oh, I don't have any quarters.
Hey. He goes, let me go to the car real quick. I got some change.
You guys have any quarters? He'll ask us that first. Then he'll go and get quarters.
I keep a bunch of quarters in the car. It's really sad, though, because I mean, that is my form of gambling. It really, that is gambling to me. That's but it's a quarter at a time. Yeah. That's the difference. You know?
You can play quarters up at the boat.
No.
I bet a quarter at a time.
I don't need that voice. I'm telling you.
I was like that too. I've literally gambled like once or twice, and I've broke even. I lost a ton of money, and then I gained some back, and I was like up $50, and I go, call it a night, baby. I'm calling this a win, and I'm probably never gambling again.
Right. Well, I told you the story of when we lived in New Jersey, and my wife and I, we went to the Trump Casino Hotel. It was, I think at the time it was the Taj Mahal, Trump Taj Mahal, and we won, I don't know, $30 or whatever it was, something like that. I said, okay. So then we blew it all on lunch. We had a nice lunch there at Trump Taj Mahal. And I was like, oh, well, you blew all your money. I go, no. The way I see it, Donald Trump bought me lunch. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
It was money you didn't have previous.
Right. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's times that you leave the boat shaking your head, and there's other times you're like, sweet.
You just never know.
You never know.
And we're talking hobbies today. So, I mean... So video games are one thing. And again, to separate hobbies from interests, I don't know, it's hard. I mean, I'm a big Trekker. I love Star Trek. Oh, yes. All things Star Trek, except, by the way, the new Star Trek movie, if I may meander just a moment.
I guess we're going to.
Listen, here's the thing.
Section 31.
I say that Star Trek for you is a hobby. I don't think it is an interest. I mean, it's an interest for you, but I say that you like it enough that it's beyond an interest. I feel like Star Trek's a hobby.
The new Star Trek movie on Paramount Plus, Section 31, don't bother with it. It is Star Trek trash. It should not have the name Star Trek on it.
I've heard that.
Well, I mean, Jordan and I weren't gonna. But now we're definitely
when I told
not gonna.
Aaron this, I knew I was like, I really don't have to explain this to you. But Section 31 in Star Trek lore is this top secret agency within Starfleet, and they do all kinds of experiments and high tech stuff. But they didn't even explain it in the movie. What's Section 31? I was hoping for a little closer look at Section 31, and it was just terrible. So don't even waste your time with it. That's what I'm. It's the worst Star Trek. Somebody want to go wake up Aaron. Aaron!
Oh, sorry.
Clearly, Star Trek is not Aaron's hobby. Aaron, what's a hobby that you enjoy?
Well, you guys know I like to read.
Yes.
You're
probably one of the biggest readers.
She is the biggest reader I know. Yeah.
I like horror and murder mysteries,
like thriller
some
type
fantasy.
Stuff.
Yeah, love thriller stuff. Romanticises, that's a new one that my friends and I've gotten into. Yes, where it's set in like
a romance fantasy kind of situation.
Yeah, so it's like fairies and goblins and all this other stuff, but with a sprinkle of spice. Makes it interesting.
I've fallen in love with an elf.
Exactly.
A mystical...
And when his ears pointed my way,
hey lady,
I knew he was the one.
Hey lady, I'm busy.
None of them sound like that.
Like a siren song over the mystic spring.
Well, wait a minute. How do you know how they sound?
Oh, I know.
Listen,
because with this, you can
unless
control.
It's an audiobook.
Theater of the mind. Aaron's reading, and she's like, I got the whole movie playing.
Well, people are like, ew, how can you read horror when you hate watching horror movies? Because I'm not watching the violence.
You're creating it in your own head.
I can tame it down to where it's okay. It doesn't bother me.
I admire how much she reads because I'm telling you, I've said it before. My dad was a voracious reader. He always had a book open. He had a huge library, and I always envied that. I envy it now more now than I did when I was a kid. But I wish I had gotten that chip from him, and I didn't.
Well, it's something that I used to do quite a bit, and then I got away from it for life got busy. And I finally said, you know what? Life's always going to be busy. I have to make time for this, or I will never get back to it. So, especially on the weekends, when the husband and the dogs, the dogs will get up with me, but we have a routine. It's the same that we have throughout the week. We get up, I take them potty, I feed them breakfast, I take them potty again, and then I say, you want to go lay down? And then they go and they hop up on the bed. I shut the bedroom door, and on the weekends, I have like 2.5 to 3 hours where I can start laundry and read and be
Nice.
Yeah.
You're in your happy place there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
See, another, I guess I'd call it a hobby of mine is, so I'm kind of a watch guy. I really enjoy watches.
Oh, yeah.
I like to collect watches. I like to just go online and look at watches. I know it's weird. But anyway, my grandpa, he really liked it back in the day, and it's just kind of something that I liked hanging out with my grandpa. He enjoyed it, and I kind of picked it up from him.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, from all sorts of things. Got pocket watches, got just, obviously all sorts of different kinds of wristwatches. Different ones, even like match outfits. I've gone above and beyond with the watches.
One of these days, you ought to lay all your watches out. Seriously, take a picture of them. And we'll put it on the Facebook page or something.
That's what I need to do. That's what I need to do. Find because I do. I even have cases. I have and I got it for Christmas last year. No, that's past Christmas. Yeah. I got a whole thing of my watches and this watch.
Nice.
And all that. But yeah, no.
But you actually wear a watch too.
I do, and I wear them.
There you go.
This one right here is just this is a little dress watch.
So is it any type of watch?
Yeah, I like all sorts. So there's like
digital, analog. You don't care.
Yeah, I literally like all watches for different reasons.
Haven't you noticed he's actually worn like the little Casio before? Or like
little digital Casios.
Yeah. So do you change them like all the time, every day? Like, I think I'll wear this one today.
I just it's typically
like socks.
Yeah, kind of like rotate them.
Pretty much. I'll rotate.
Really? Wow. So you have like an organization to it.
I do.
Fun.
But so there's 3 different types.
Yeah.
So you have not to get too into it, but you have like
get
automatic
into it.
watches.
We're in a podcast here. It's okay.
So you have mechanical watches and you have digital watches. You have, of course, ones that just operate off of like a battery. Which those are the cheapest ones. Some people are going to be like, "Oh, you need to pay for the real hand wound, multi-$1,000 watch." The reason they're that expensive is because how they're made. They're very like the gears, everything very handmade. They last a long time, very intricate. Of course, if you spend $3,000 on a watch, you got to think of the repair on a $3,000 watch is insane.
Yeah.
Or you could be like, this watch was $50. Just spend $50 to get a new watch. You know what I mean? So,
well, I will tell you, I had no knowledge of watches.
Yeah.
Somebody could honestly tell me this Rolex is worth $10,000, or it could be a fake that costs $100. You know what I mean? I wouldn't know.
Be a Rolex.
Look, listen.
I wouldn't know. What's the fake jewelry called?
Cubic.
I wouldn't know cubic zirconium from gold or from diamond. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, and most people don't. Right. Most people don't. But so it's just something I've always really liked is watches. I have so many of them. I like from the expensive ones down to the cheap ones. You can find really good quality, really well made stuff, even like the $30 range. So don't think cheap is a bad watch.
And he also likes sunglasses.
I'm a
He's
sunglasses
a sunglass man. How many sets of sunglasses?
And so I don't buy as many sunglasses as I do watches. I think I probably have like 4 pairs of sunglasses.
No, I thought you were going to say 10 or 20 or something.
Bad,
okay.
Right? That's not bad. And again, I have to have these because, as everyone can attest, I just leave them everywhere.
You lose them. I know. We've got whole stories about that.
So can you change out the batteries and everything yourself?
You can, yeah. So
do you know how to do all that?
I know how to do it for the most part. Now, there's some that are like really pressed, like depending on the back you have. The mechanical ones, you don't have to change a battery. You only have to like replace a gear or something like that if something breaks it.
Right.
But yeah, the battery ones, and even the battery ones, they last 5+ years. So
nice.
You don't have to change the battery that often when you do have to change it.
Interesting.
That's fascinating.
You know, another hobby, I guess, again, I don't even know if this is a hobby. Again, it's an interest. You guys know, like, I'm really into politics. I love politics. I love reading it. I love reading about it.
Technically be a hobby.
I mean, but it's like, I
whole TV channels dedicated
I go
to it, right?
deep into the weeds with
you will nerd out.
I go deep into the weeds with a lot of stuff, and to me, I find it fascinating, and I'm very opinionated, and so to me, I love that stuff. But I know most people's eyes glaze over, or not most, but a lot of people's eyes glaze over. Once you get past the basics, presidential races or whatever. But then I don't know. To me, that's
your jam.
That's riveting. That's my jam. Yes,
that's my jam.
Okay, so I like to cook and bake things that I don't do ordinarily. Like I have an entire. This sounds nerdy. I have a whole binder full of recipes that I've yanked out of magazines or wherever over the years. Of stuff that I'm going to cook or I'm going to try. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I'm not getting through them as fast as I would like to. But, yeah, I probably do maybe 2 or 3 a month, if that, Because, you don't know if you're going to like something if you don't try
No, for sure. You got to try it.
We have found, some winners. And then we have found some not-so-winners.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the weirdest thing, and actually my brother, one day, this is eons ago, rings the doorbell. I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, oh, I'm glad you're home. And he comes in with all these grocery bags. I'm like, what are you doing? I need you to make me this chili. what?
Okay.
He found some chili in a Men's Health magazine.
And he didn't feel confident making it or
right,
whatever?
And it was a pumpkin chili.
Ooh.
Which sounds really weird, but I was intrigued enough to try it.
Was it they give it like a sweetness to it? I feel like it would have. Right?
Wasn't my favorite thing, but I didn't hate it either.
Pumpkin chili.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've never had something
Yeah,
like that.
it was a little bizarre, and it had a lot of, kind of strange spices that I've never put in chili before, but it made this huge pot, and he must have not liked it because I think I ate on that pot for probably 2 weeks or so. A lot of chili. But boy, did I kill it at the gym that week.
Curse you, brother! Stuck with pumpkin chili.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't say this is a healthy hobby per se, but it's something that me and my dad have gotten more into, and that would be smoking cigars. I occasionally have always enjoyed one, but my dad, I mean, he probably does at least, I mean, I'd say 3 a week. And so my dad, he's really gotten into it a lot. And the fact that he's gotten into it, it just gives us something to do. I'll go over to his house on the weekend and be like, try this, So
no, the husband, he would like a good cigar as he was, mowing the yard and everything, and we've kind of gotten away from it some, but yeah, no, I totally get the appeal. And anytime I smell tobacco like that, my uncle was a pipe smoker.
Oh yeah.
And he had like this cherry based tobacco.
Yeah.
Oh man, to this day when I smell it, I'm always like,
oh yeah,
it's Uncle Ron.
I had my grandfather and my great uncle, same thing, cigar, pipe. I love the smell of a pipe, man. I'll tell you. It's funny. The day we're recording this is sunny, and we're going to get to like 75 degrees,
which is
today,
so weird for
which
February.
is insane. And I was telling Aaron earlier, we keep saying we're going to have go downstairs to the patio and have a cigar, and like we don't have nobody's bought the cigars yet. You know what I mean? So and like we haven't prepared. As
we
Aaron
all know
said.
that it's going to fall on me.
Right,
Next time I go to Herman, I will go by.
It
and
has
I will get
been like -4 outside.
Right, exactly.
We can't just be out there.
Top of mind
it's a good
for
cigar,
any of
isn't
us.
it, guys?
Yeah.
But we have to be prepared for when we do get days like this, that we can take advantage of it because we can't think of it on the day that it's nice.
Right.
So, but no, I'm with you, man. I love a good cigar.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so is there anything else that you guys enjoy doing? I got another one.
You got another one?
Please share.
Go for it.
I enjoy adult coloring books.
See, I've heard they've been gaining.
I knew.
You know what?
I knew Kevin was going to have a fit.
I know that's your reaction, Kevin, but I'm telling you, like
it is relaxing.
And they're starting to blow up. I've seen more and more people get into this. Now I don't know if it's again not my cup of tea, but if someone wants to just relax and do that and kind of just shut their mind off, that's kind of
exactly
what
it does.
Yeah.
I have the same reaction as when Jordan tells me he likes adult animation.
Well, okay, so I got into this in 2021. We had some stuff.
Don't take that the wrong way.
We had some things pop up in the family in 2021, and I actually had a friend suggest it, and boy, were they right, because it's very relaxing. I just sit there and kind of zone out, and I like the ones with really pretty patterns.
The whole
and
Zen
stuff like
thing
that.
going on,
It really is, and I've always liked bright colors and stuff, so it's almost cool to try to hunt down cool gel pens.
Hey, Miss Aaron,
cool
what do you have over
coloring
there?
pens,
Stay away. That's
pencils,
her
all that
adult
stuff.
coloring
They can
book.
poo-poo it all they want. This is the same guy who listens to Star Trek.
Listen, this gives me an awesome idea. Like, I don't want to call them out in the company, but there's someone in the company that every time we're in meetings, I see them doodling all the time. I want to now buy them an adult coloring book just to see. And the next time we're at a meeting to see them.
Everybody's just sitting there. Hey, so can you repeat back to me what we just said?
But again, an awesome idea for doodlers. People like to just do that to kind of just zone out,
So,
but you have to have crayons and everything.
A good friend of mine, she is into quilting. Shout out to my friend Meredith. And she's good at it too. Like, I've never had that patience. I had both my grandmothers quilted. I was around it a lot, but I never absorbed what they were attempting to teach me. I probably should have. But yeah, I mean, just to take pieces of fabric and just make the most amazing creations.
Yeah.
And that's what they are. I mean, that's really quite phenomenal.
Those things become keepsakes. Because I'll tell you, you guys know when I was like 21 years old, I was like really seriously ill. I could have died. My mom sat by my bedside and knitted this amazing brown Afghan. I mean, and it's huge. And she really put her heart and soul into it. And I still have it.
It's like she crocheted it?
Whatever this thing is. What's that?
are you milking something? I can't quite tell. Are those supposed to be knitting
like
needles?
Giant needles.
That would be knitting.
Okay,
that's like crocheting.
I don't claim
That's also
Crocheting
I have a quilt that my grandma made me, years ago.
Oh, it's precious, man.
And it's still, it's in I use it still today.
Yeah.
Perfect condition.
Exactly. No, I lost my mom almost 15 years ago, and I cherish that thing,
So growing up, my grandmother made us all quilts, but we used them. That's what, Mom was like. Mom was very practical. If we had it, we used it. Now the husband, his grandmother made him a quilt, and it's immaculate. And my father-in-law actually gave it to me, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. And I go, oh, well, don't you want to hand this to Rich? He goes, no. He goes, because I know that you will take care of it. He goes, nothing against my son. He goes, but he'll forget where he put it, or he'll put it directly in the sun, or, the dogs will get to it.
Hey, babe, you know where the family heirloom is? I can't find it.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, no problem. I got it. We took care of it.
It sounds like a conversation me and my wife.
It's now all wrapped up and it's in a tub.
I'll put something somewhere and not remember where it's at. Mm-hmm. Hey, do you remember where it's on the counter?
Oh, my God.
Well, a friend of mine, she recently got into, and this is probably the wrong term, but it's like loop knitting or something. Like she basically kind of almost crochets with just her fingers.
Whoa.
And she made me a blanket, and it's incredible.
Are the things tighter? The thing, because
they're kind of loose. They're like these big fluffy like loops, and all woven together to make a blanket. And even with it being loops, it's like crazy warm.
Still warm. How about that? Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, she gave it to me
because you would think if it has all that space, it might not be as. But
yep. Well, I tested it out over the weekend. She gave it to me on last Monday, and it is awesome. And she's like,
awesome.
"Oh yeah," she's like, "I love making them. I'll just sit there and we'll watch TV, and She's like, I'll just knit. And
there is something about a warm blanket. I'll tell you. I mean, I have them on me at home. Even if it's not particularly cold out, if it's even just cool, if you guys ever walk in on me, you'll see me with a blanket on the sofa watching TV. That's me. That's how I am. And my dog gets underneath it next to me too. He has to lay underneath.
We have a tote. Dedicated to blankets, towards the end of our couch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like tons of. It's like you don't get on the couch unless you have a oversized throw
it's
on
true.
you.
Yeah,
exactly
right.
Exactly.
Well, we're talking about hobbies today, so if you'd like to share some of yours, we'd love to hear from you.
That's right. You can shoot us an email, catcountry@mailzimmer.com. Let us know what's your hobby. Maybe we're looking for ideas for more. Kevin's got to do something other than Star Trek.
He's always going to like Star Trek. If you look at my Facebook feed, seriously, like all my stuff is like
politics and Star Trek.
Star Trek, Philadelphia Eagles, movie, old, super, like sci-fi movies, that kind of that's because they know we know what Kevin likes, and that's all they're going to give me.
And his grandsons,
and grandsons, yeah.
So yes,
yeah. But I mean, stuff that I get, you know what I mean, that they entice me with. That's what I mean. So like, let me click on that. That looks good. Ooh, that looks great. Yeah. And Temu.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started.
Hey, you can get a watch on Temu. A penny.
Oh, the husband bought a few. They did not last very long.
Did you hear the joke about Temu that there was a fire at the warehouse in China? Total loss, $42.
That's wrong.
Well, that's another KATcast, and we're so glad you're along, and we'll catch you next time on the Cat Country KATcast.